Hello, Abraham. I'm fairly new to your material, and I have a couple of questions kind of about creation. And first of all, I want to know if I understand this correctly. My husband and I have been trying to, let's say, manifest in a certain area, and we know now that obviously we have a dominant thought or belief that has prevented us from producing what we wanted.
A thought that's easy to change. Yes.
So what I had been studying before I was introduced to your work was that in order for us to get what we wanted, we would need to somehow figure out what the core belief is that's preventing us from this happening. But from what I'm understanding now, as long as you keep realizing when you have a thought come in that you need to change your thoughts, like getting that good, happy feeling place or whatever, or the virtual reality, you can not have to worry about what that core belief is, because it could be an unconscious belief.
The reason that people, others, many, teach that you have to find out what that core belief is, it's a very valid point that they're making. In other words, let's say that you have this, and you don't know how you got it, you don't remember how you got it, but you've got this sort of feeling of vulnerability that you've been carrying around, and it manifests with things falling on you and traffic accidents and people taking your bag, and all kinds of things are happening in your experience. And so you say, well, I could get burglar alarms and I could do all of these things and I could isolate myself. And they're saying, yes, but as long as you still have that vibration going on within you, then you are still a vibrational match to those things. And so you have to find a way of changing that vibration. When you say, I've got a core belief, I've got to figure out what's wrong, then you start probing around in those vibrations and you keep those vibrations activated longer. There are people that continue to go to therapy sessions year after year after year after year that keep having different experiences, but all that have the same sort of vibrational basis of them, because they are not able to find those core beliefs and get rid of them. All they do is find them and activate them further. And so what we're suggesting is that it is not possible to deactivate a core belief. In fact, we think even calling it a core belief makes it sound bigger and badder than it ever needs to be.
Yes.
We would, instead of saying, I need to get rid of these core beliefs, we would say, I'm going to activate some things that serve me better. And I'm going to pay attention to the way I feel moment by moment and activate the things that feel best as much as I can, and eventually everything smooths out. It always does. Now, some examples of that are, have you ever known someone who maybe even had an illness or maybe a financial situation, something that felt very big to them? And they could say, well, I've got core beliefs because my family was always struggling about money, or I have core beliefs because my parents' relationship was bad and their parents' relationship was bad. So I was sort of brought up into all of that. They have all kinds of reasons that they could give you about why they feel the way they do. But then they've got some other vibrations going on because you are all multi-vibrational on different topics. And let's say this person meets someone, falls in love, and all of a sudden their illness is not an issue anymore. It just sort of goes away. And you say, what is it about falling in love that could make my illness go away? And we say, your new partner got your attention. You were distracted from the worry. Now, not always, because sometimes if you are really heavy into that vibration, it's possible that you would attract a partner who would amplify that worry about that vibration too. People will say, I've thought that all my life, and I don't know how to stop thinking that. In other words, that's just where my mind goes. And here is what is screwy. Here is the part that we're wanting you to understand is so much more simple than most of you have been making it out to be. You do not have to go back and unlearn those thoughts. You do not have to go back and undo all of that. All you have to do is ignore it for a little while and it will become dormant. But we've never known an active mind like yours, to be able to just not think about that. That's really what meditation is, but most of you can't do that for very long. It's a neutralization of vibration, so to speak. It's much easier to think about that. But it gets a little tricky because if I've already activated that, then that's what I have vibrational access to. So I say, I don't want to think about that, I want to think about something else, but most everything else that I try to think about is sort of like that because that's the vibration I've got going on. So then you say, well, I'm going to change the subject altogether, and I'm going to find a vibration that feels just a little bit better, and I'm going to maintain that vibration for as long as I can until I've set a different vibrational frequency within myself. And now, within 17 seconds, we're not kidding you, those thoughts, which seemed like the only thoughts that you could think, are now deactivated and a new thought pops into range. And it is so much easier to let the laws of the universe help you find the better feeling thoughts than to wrestle that one to the ground and kill it, because you can't get rid of it. The harder you push against it, the more active it becomes, you see. And so then little by little what begins to happen is your whole range of vibration shifts. The thoughts that you used to think commonly, you hardly ever think. And when they do flare up, you realize how glad you are to have deviated from them so far. In other words, we want you to begin to understand that where you stand right now in your vibrational point of attraction is not about, I was 5 and I picked up these thoughts and put them in my pocket, and I was 6 and I picked up these thoughts, and I was 7 and I picked up these thoughts, and now I'm 50 and I've got all these thoughts in my pocket, and now I have to start over. I have to get rid of these and get rid of these and get rid of these and pick up some different ones. It's not like that at all. You can stand right here where you stand with your pockets full of thoughts and say, if I think that thought right now, it feels good. And if I think that thought right now, it doesn't feel so good, so I choose that one. And as you are making those decisions in your now, you don't have pockets full of thoughts that have any bearing on your experience. In other words, today, you can shift your vibrational nature today. You can get on a rampage of appreciation today and shift your vibrational nature, and as soon as today, things will begin responding differently, because the entire universe is responding to you now. Not when you were 5, not when you were 2, not yesterday, right now. But right now, I'm offering a vibration that's sort of like the one that I've been offering, because it's logical that I would offer a vibration that I've been offering unless I've decided to offer a different vibration. In other words, that's where determination and decision comes. You are powerful creators that get to direct your thought. And as you choose the direction of your thought, you choose the direction of your vibration. Now, that's what deliberate creating is. Sort of tiring, isn't it?
You have to keep at it then. Just keep at it.
So, let's approach it differently. Let's say, every day of my life, I've been having experiences that made me shout what I preferred. And I am a worthy being that Source adores. And Source has heard my every utterance. And all I have to do is find thoughts that leave me in a place of non-resistance. And all things that I consider to be good flow into my experience. So our question to you is, if the struggle and hard work feels like the better approach, then go after it. If relaxing and allowing the well-being that is natural to you does not feel like you are deserving it enough, then struggle more and hold it off longer. But if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would begin to acknowledge today that any sort of struggle is off my path. And any sort of pleasure is on my path. Mm-hmm. And anything that feels like well-being is. And anything that feels like hardship is. And anything that feels like criticism is my resistance. And anything that feels like blame is my resistance. And anything that feels like love is my allowing. In other words, you just can't get around. Your emotional guidance system has been with you in every moment to help you know that you are an extension of Source energy and that life is supposed to be good. We make so much of all of this as we try to compare this thought with this thought and this action with this action. And we say, oh, there's huge variety to please you. In other words, look at something like art and try to decide what art is best. Let's take all of the art that has ever been, all of the art that is now becoming, and let's get together and conclude what is the best of all of it. What are the best colors, and what are the best textures, and what is the best medium, and what is the best subjects? And you say, oh, Abraham, there's so much variety, and so much of it is pleasing for different reasons. And we say, exactly, there is not one right way to anything. There are endless ways. And as an individual, you're wanting to choose your path based upon the way you feel as you're making the choice.
Thank you.
So how do I be the fulfillment of that which I came forth to be. How do I get done what I came forth to do? We say, first of all, you didn't come forth to get anything done. You came forth to have the experience of doing, and there's a big difference. You didn't come forth to complete. You came forth to have the pleasure of the process. And you say, but aren't I supposed to get it done? And we say, you can't get it done. And you say, well, how do I measure my progress? And we say, by the joy that you live. And you say, but how do I know if I am getting it done in the way that I intended to do? And we say, you feel good while you are in the process, but you will never get it done. And you say, well, how do I measure myself against others and understand that I have succeeded in any great fashion? And we say, you cannot compare yourself against others and find any measurement except your comparison with others. That does not give you any measurement of your success in this life experience. And you say, well, doesn't comparing myself against others give me greater desire? And we say, yes, and that serves you extremely well because that desire is summoning. And so you say, well, if comparing myself to others gives birth to desire and cause me to summon, then how do I know that I've succeeded? And we say, you feel good, you relax and allow what you've desired to be. And you say, aha, so it is important for me to complete the desires that I define. And we say, exactly. It is only important for you to complete the desires that you define. The only alignment that has ever been necessary, the only alignment that you ever intended, was that you would set your own individualistic desires or goals, and that you would find vibrational compliance with your own goals. And when you are doing that, life is good. Life is good in this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment. Sometimes physical friends feel a little uncomfortable when we say, and that is what life is. Life is a series of delicious moments. And so you say, well, there's got to be more. Abraham, what are you doing? And we say, we're having a delicious moment. And you say, yes, but isn't your moment more powerful than my moment? And we say, no, nor is it more powerful than that of the ant. In other words, our perspective is our perspective, and our alignment with Source is our alignment with Source, and there is satisfaction potential for all of us in any of those moments. So, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would not spend any time trying to define what core beliefs are. Instead, we would try to decide what is the best possible use of my time right now. What would make me feel the absolute best that I could feel? And in time, you will be inspired to the synchronicity of that in a way that will absolutely amaze you. You'll get an impulse to take a walk just at the time that you'll run into somebody that has a piece of information that you've been looking for. And as you have the conversation, you'll be filled with exhilaration. And you will feel like you've just had the best walk of your life. Or you will feel the impulse to call someone, and it will be just at the moment when they were waiting for you. And the timing is just exactly perfect. When you get an impulse to buy some stock or to sell some stock or to call for a job interview or to do anything in your experience, you will find your timing so right on, provided you have tended to yourself in a way that you are gravitating toward what feels good rather than trying to motivate yourself in your fear of what might feel bad. You do have core beliefs. You have so many core beliefs. We would like to express some of those core beliefs to you if you don't mind. We're talking about core beliefs. We're talking about the beliefs that are at the very core of you. You know that you are valuable. You know that you are good. You know that you are God. You know that this time-space reality is the most powerful, poignant, leading-edge experience in all of the universe. You know that Source adores you. And you know that you have access to all that is. And you know that your environment will stimulate you. And you know that the stimulation will feel good. And you know that the resources are there to satisfy you. And you know that the satisfaction is inevitable. And you know that all others are here experiencing the same. And you know that together you will collectively benefit one another. And you know that in your exposure to one another, new desires will be born. And you know that those desires will feel good as they are born. And you know that you have the ability to align with those desires. And you know that the Source will satisfy those desires. And you know that your experience will then be expanded. And you know that the new idea will be born from that expansion. And you know that it will ever be thus, that you will never get it done. And that the reason for all of it is the pleasurable joy that you can extract from the moment of your focus. That is what it is all about.